Hi everyone, it's Dawn. I'm back with a follow-up video from Penny's, the first video I did on Penny's new bottle toppers. This is the follow-up video to show you how to take the toppers to the next level. In this case, I'm going to show you how to make them antique brass look. You can do whatever you want with these toppers. You can paint them any color you want. I choose to have my bottle toppers look like brass or antiqued. So this is the technique that I like to use, and when you see it done, you're gonna not believe how easy it is to do. The bottle toppers come in two colors, white and like a bronze color. So you've got a white and a bronze color. You can use them as is. The white, not so much I would use as is, but you can certainly use this bronze color one just the way it is. For those of you who don't feel like painting it, you can certainly use it this way. Otherwise, you can go ahead and paint them any way you want. Bring your bottle up to the next level. The technique of the antiquing can be used on clay molds, which I did a video on clay molds, and that's what I do at my my molds. In this case, we're talking about bottle toppers. When you antique, you need to have a base color, and then you need some type of a gilding wax, an antiquing wax or paste. You can use metallic paste, and that's what you're going to need to get this look. You have to start off with a base color, and usually when I go for this brass antique look, I usually do a base color of brown or black. I've also used a base color of blue, which I did on this bottle. And if you look close, you can see that, you know, there's the antiquing on top, but underneath you can see, if you can, I used a blue that is in the grooves. So you can use any color as a base color, but if you want that real antique look, you need to use a black or a brown. You can use chalk paint or acrylic paint, it doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do is tell you what you're going to need, and then I will show you what you need to do. So you're going to need your base color, which is going to be for this antiquing particular technique, you're going to need a black paint or a brown paint. I use the chalk paint. You can use acrylic paint. It doesn't matter. It will work, but not a gloss paint. You have to use a flat paint. You're going to need a paintbrush. You're going to need some type of gilding wax, antiquing wax, or a paste. I've been using this. I got it off of Amazon, Inca Gold, and this is the gold brown. I think they have a few other colors, like maybe a silver and a gold and a copper. I do like this color. It gives me the look that I want. Get something like that. You can also use metallic paints. I've got here the Deco Art Metallic Silver. This is the Folk Art Antique Gold, and the Folk Art Pure Gold. I also have some other colors over there, but this is what you can use to do this technique. So what you first need to do, which I've already done because I didn't think you wanted to watch me paint this black and it had to dry. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your project, your item, whether it be the stoppers or a clay mold. Today we're talking about stoppers. So you're going to take your white bottle topper, I'm calling it a stopper, I'm sorry. You're going to take your white bottle topper and you're going to paint it black. Now you can also paint it brown, okay? I chose to go black with this, and you're going to paint it. You're going to get in all the grooves and paint it very well, get all the spots. You need to use a matte finish like a chalk paint. You can use acrylic paint, just don't use anything glossy. You're going to paint it, and then you have to let it it's got to be completely dry. Just one tip, when you are painting anything, like when you do a base coat, paint is reflective when it's wet, so you're probably going to have to go back after it dries, and you'll see a lot of spots that you missed, because while the paint is wet, it's reflective and it's gonna look like it's all coated good, and then the next thing you know, it's drying and you're gonna find little white spots. So just be prepared to go back and paint it again. But in order for this technique to work right, your product, your item has to be completely dry. So I went ahead and painted this black. I let it dry for like a half hour. Now it is completely dry. So now what you're gonna do is, I wanna get this to look like this. And you can see that the base, like all the nooks and crannies, have black. Now if that was, the base color was brown, that would look brown. Okay, but you can see where the black is. Same here, this was painted black and then antiqued. Okay, so whatever your base color is what's gonna come through. And if you use brown, it is going to look a little different than when you use a base color of black. They both look great. I use both base colors, and I love the way it looks. Okay, so once it's completely dry, just get something real quick, my fingers. When it's completely dry, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your wax, your antiquing wax. Okay, it's very thick, kind of dry feeling. You could do this with metallic paints. I use the metallic paints at the end. I don't usually do it with the paint. I have more control with the wax. So you get a wax or a paste, you get it off Amazon, you get it in your local craft store. Okay, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna get some on your finger. I mean, you can use a brush. I don't use a brush, I use my finger. I have more control with my fingers and I like the way it works. Okay, I'm gonna get it on my finger, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the topper or whatever you're working with, and the idea is to go over it lightly, get all the raised areas, okay? That's what you want to pick up the wax. So I'm going to do a light touch, and I'm going to, in a circular motion, I'm going to go over the whole piece. And if, you know, like I said, the wax is kind of dry. If you need more, you go in and you grab some more. Now I'm just gonna lightly, in a circular motion. I mean, you don't have to go in a circular motion. You can get it any way that you can. And you're just going to, I mean, you're not gonna put a whole bunch on your finger, because then it's just gonna get gobby. And then I'm just, see that? I'm just going to rub it all over the piece. And what it's gonna do is, on the raised spots, it's going to pick up the wax, okay? You can do it as much as you want, get it in the areas that you want, but all I'm doing is dipping my finger in the wax and running it across the piece. Okay, you can, wherever you want to go with it, and as much as you want. I go over the raised pieces a little bit heavier. I want them to really stand out. And you just, see, I want a little more here on his jaw. Do that. And you do it until you're satisfied with it. I'm not going to concentrate too much here, because that's going to go on top of the bottle. But you put as much as you want on it. Get as much of, see, this gold brown makes it look brassy. You know, you can also use just a gold. It just depends on what you like. Now here, there's nothing raised here, but I'm going to go over it a little bit, just to give it some color. And the inside. Okay, so that's what we have so far. So you see, it's already doing what it's supposed to do, and it looks great. Now you can stop there and leave it at that, or you can go one step further, and now this is where I go in with my metallic paints. Let's see, I'm gonna go with the antique gold. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm going to kind of dip my finger. Now the paint is not thick like the wax, so when you get your finger in there, you're gonna pull up a lot. So just like dab it on a paper. You know, you don't want it to be dripping off your finger. And then, now you have to be a little more careful with this because this is more liquidy, more drippy, and you don't want to get it, you know, coat it too much. So I've got some on my finger, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over those raised areas. I'm not going to go on it as much as I did with the brown gold wax, but I'm going to give it some highlights. And again, there's no right or wrong way. You can do this however you want. You can make it as gold as you want. You can make it as bronzy as you want. I even have a copper color. You can add as much gold as you want. You can, you know, rub it, you know, wherever you want. There's no right or wrong. What I would be careful of is there's nothing really raised here. So I'm just gonna kind of dab and pat and just kind of get a little bit on there. See, when there's nothing raised, it can tend to get gobby, and you don't want to do that. But this is pretty much all you do. Okay. And there you go. Took it up a little bit more, gave it a little bit more a brass look. If I want to, I can now take the pure gold. I love this technique. This is like playtime. This is fun to do. Again, it's paint. So now this is a little bit brighter gold. I'm going to add a little bit of this. You know, again, you know, as much as you want, as little as you want. You can tap it on, rub it on, but this is all you do. And that, close my paint before I spill it. And that is how you get an antique brass look. And if you, oh, all my bottles are drying. If you were to put this on top of a bottle, there you go. That looks so cool. I love this antiquing technique. So here's the pieces that I did. And look, this piece looks just like it. And that's all there is to it. So I encourage you to try this technique out. You can do this on a lot of things. If you're decoupaging cutting boards, or you know, you can rub some on there, antique that a little bit if you want. But these bottle toppers, it's endless what you can do with them. And again, you could go in and you can paint this all different colors. You could, you know, do your own thing with it. You could do the base color. Like I said, if you do the base color brown, it will come up a little bit different looking, still looks cool. But you can take, you could do any base color really. Do the base color, let it dry, and then go over it with an antiquing wax and then a little bit of metallic paint. It's endless. It's endless what you can do. It's endless what you can do with your bottles. This was such a great idea that Penny had, and I love it. I am so excited about this, and I said it in the other video. So again, these are very affordable. The white ones are $3.50 plus tax, and the bronze colored ones are $4 plus, not plus tax, I'm sorry, $4 plus shipping. These are $3.50 plus shipping, no tax. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's what you can do with it. So you could take a plain white bottle topper and turn it into this. They're fantastic. They're amazing. And that's all that you need to do. And I really hope that you guys will give it a try. It's fun. I want to antique everything. And again, Penny's Rice Papers, grab yourself some, go to her albums tab and click on that, and you'll see a ton of folders with images there. Grab you some images, grab you up some bottle toppers, and just create and have fun. And please, please, please post what you create. We'd love to see it. And yeah, I think you're going to really enjoy these. It's endless. Okay, guys, well, again, I hope I taught you something. I hope you give it a try, and have a great day, and we'll see you soon.